We are going to write an equation in a slope-intercept form from a table of values. So that would be the table. And what we need to do now is we need to write it in a slope-intercept form. We're going to get all the information from this table, and the answer should look like this. That is the name of that equation, the slope-intercept form. Well, if that's what we need to do is we need to find first the y-intercept. So I'm gonna write the y-intercept is the variable b. Now the y-intercept, we always gonna be looking at the value where x equals to 0. Well, if x equals to 0, then this will be the y-intercept. That should be -4. Okay. Now that you have the y-intercept, and we need to get the slope. To get the slope, you always gonna be moving down. Okay. So on that case, we need to find the rate of change. So, and as you can see, the rate of change is gonna be -3. Now we gotta check all of these points. The same thing should happen over and over and over. So if it doesn't happen anywhere here, then you're not gonna have the slope. The slope doesn't change. So 5 minus 3, you get 2. Minus 3, you get -1. Minus 3, you get -4. Minus 3, you get -7. So it checks. This will be the rise. Same thing should happen on the other side. The rate of change should be +1. So you get -2 plus 1, you get -1. Plus 1, you get 0. Plus 1, you get 1. So it checks. This will be the run. Okay. And the slope, just in case you forgot, is going to be always rise over the run. Okay. So now that we know that the slope should be, by the way, or what rise over the run, now we can write the slope. The slope should be, that is going to be -3 over 1. But -3 over 1 is only no -3. Okay. Now we have the y-intercept, we have the slope, and now we're going to replace these two into that equation. So the answer then should be y equals, the slope is going to be -3 times x, and the y-intercept, you see how it says positive? Well, it's going to be the positive or negative. In this case, it's going to be -4. So that would be the answer. Let me do another one. One more time. This is another table of values. So we always gonna be finding the slope and the y-intercept. Okay. So this is the y-intercept. That will be the slope. The slope, you always gonna be looking at the value where x equals to 0. Then this will be the y-intercept. Okay, that would be +10. Now that we have the y-intercept, we need to find the slope. To find the slope, you always gonna be moving down, and we need to find the rate of change. On this case, can you see that if this is 20 and this one is 15, the rate of change is -5? And now we got to check all the points, right? The same thing should happen over and over and over. 20 minus 5, you get 15. Minus 5, you get 10. Minus 5, you get 5. So it checks. This is going to be the rise. On the other side, we have to do the same thing. In this case, we need to find the rate of change. So this is -10, and this one is -5. Then this will be +5. -10 plus 5, you get -5. -5 plus 5, you get 5. Plus 5, you get 5. So it checks. This will be the run. Okay. So the answer should be rise over the run. That is going to make it -5 divided by 5. Okay. Rise over the run. And when you divide, that is going to be -1. The next step, what we're gonna do now is we need to do the substitution into that equation. So we're gonna start by doing the substitution. We're gonna write y equals, and this -1 is gonna be multiplying x. -1 times x, you're gonna get -x. And then b is gonna be 10, and 10 is gonna be positive. So that would be the answer. By the way, when it's 1, we don't really write the 1 because it is multiplying. It's like when you have -1 times 2. Don't you just write the answer, which is -2? Well, same thing happens here. -1 times x is going to be -x. Same thing. And now, these were easy because you can see the 0, right, on each table. So this is 1 point, that's another point. So that was really easy for us to understand. What is the y-intercept, right? In this case, we just look at for the value where x equals 0, and then this will be the y-intercept. Well, not all the time it's going to be that easy. Some of the times you need to find the value where x equals 0. And remember, these are points. Okay, now let's look at the order. That'll be 8. As you can see, you don't have 0, right? Because you don't have 0, then we need to find that value. So now look at this point. This is point. Then the value for x is 8, 6, 4, 2. So this one, you need to find it. It has to be 0. So we're going backwards, right, on this case. Same thing here. 4, 0, -4, -8. That means this has to be -12. Okay. So now that you have, or now that you have 0, then this is going to be the y-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be -12. Okay. Now, we went up to get or to find the value where x equals 0. Sometimes you have to keep going down, okay? But in this case, we're going up. Now, that is for the y-intercept. Now, the slope, you always going to be moving down, okay? So now we need to find the rate of change. And now you can see we're going to be adding 4. -12 plus 4, you get -8. Plus 4, you get -4. Plus 4, you're going to get 0. Plus 4, you get 4. So this will be the rise. Okay. And then the rate of change on this one is going to be plus 2. 0 plus 2, you get 2. Plus 2, you get 4. Plus 2, you get 6. Plus 2, you get 8. So this one is going to be the run. Okay. And then it's going to be the slope, rise over the run. Well, the rise is going to be 4 over the run. That would be 2. And you have to divide 4 divided by 2, then we get 2. So now this is the y-intercept, and that will be the slope. To write the answer, now we're going to do the substitution into that equation. So I'm going to write y equals, the slope is going to be 2x, but it means 2 times x. And b is, I know it says positive, right? But can you see that in this example, it's going to be negative. So we're going to write -12. Okay, so let me do the last one, and then that will be it. Because remember, now all the time it's going to be as easy as just looking at the table and find where x equals 0. Sometimes you need to find it. So now I need to find the value where x equals 0. So one more time, I don't see it. So in this case, I'm not go up, right? You can see the order. 4, 3, 2, 1, that'll be 0. And this, in this case, we're just gonna go up, do the same thing, right? Look, 25, 20, 15, that would be 10. So the next number should be 5. It's going up by 5s. Now, x equals 0, right? So then b equals to positive 5 on this case. Now that you have the y-intercept, we need to find the slope. For the slope, you're always going to be moving down. Okay, so the rate of change, as you can see, we're adding 5. Okay, 5 plus 5, you get 10, plus 5, 15, plus 5, 20, plus 5, 25. So this is going to be the rise. The rate of change on the other side is going to be plus 1. 0 plus 1, you get 1. Plus 1 is 2. Plus 1 is 3. Plus 1 is 4. So this is going to be the run. The slope, rise over the run. Shouldn't that be 5 divided by 1? 5 divided by 1 is going to be only 5. And now to write the answer, we're just going to do the substitution into that equation. So the answer should be y equals. The slope is going to be 5 times x. That's what it means. And then the y-intercept is going to be, on this case, is positive. Now I'm going to write plus 5. And that's it.